Basketball. I am not Drew Hanlon or Alan Stein. I apologize. I'm also not very good looking. I apologize for that. I was joking around at dinner last night saying that if you see the movie Jerry Maguire, he talks about how he's the guy in the background whose face gets cut off in the back of the picture. That's kind of me with Pierce Wet Basketball. I stay in the background and just try to make Drew and Alan look good. However, every once in a while they let me out of the office, let me do some speaking. And I do also coach a basketball team just outside of Chicago in the United States. And I've been doing that for 12 years as a head coach. I've also spent 22 years total in coaching. So what I'm going to try to show you today, and I'm going to keep this as much on the court as I can, but I want to give you a little bit of a background into how we came to a positionless basketball system and how we run our fast break into that positionless system. So I've been very, very fortunate to work with the people I've worked with. I get to work with Drew Hanlon, Alan Stein on a daily basis. I've worked with Rick Torbett in the past. I was at Better Basketball prior to Pierce Wet Basketball. And for those of you that are familiar with the read and react or positionless basketball, the concept, you know that Rick Torbett kind of organized it and put a name on it. And that's something we've run as a program for the last 9 years or so. Really what we found was we took over a program that was struggling because the pieces just didn't fit. The five players that we would put out on the floor just didn't fit the traditional mold of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so what we were trying to figure out was how can we get our 5 best players out on the floor in order to compete with teams that maybe are more talented or have more depth. We were the smallest school in our league. We were the smallest school when we went into our playoffs in the state tournament, and we had to find a way to compete. And so initially we thought, hey, let's just slow it down, run Princeton offense, try to get backdoor cuts, grind the game down into the 30s. And what I found was myself as a coach, and I firmly believe you have to be yourself when you find your coaching identity. And that didn't work for me. So we ran Princeton offense for a year or two, slowed the game down, thought that by out-executing our opponents, we could compete. And we were still losing. It was just we were losing 40 to 34. And I personally just didn't like that type of basketball. Somebody didn't like something I said. Personally, I didn't like that type of basketball, and I know our players didn't enjoy playing in the system. So we spent a couple of years kind of researching what was out there. And the first thing we realized was we need to push the ball. The more opportunities to score, the more fun it's going to be, the more the players are going to enjoy it, the more the fans are going to enjoy it. And it was something we thought we could be pretty good at it. But what we found was, in order to do this, if we wanted to run, we needed to make it a mentality. And we needed to be able to go from our running game right into our offense. So we wanted to figure out the best way to do that seamlessly. We wanted to figure out the best way to go from pushing the ball as fast as we can into an organized and structured system. When we found the read and react, the positionless basketball piece of that just kind of fit. It kind of was the key, the thing that was missing from what we were doing. So the first thing we needed to do is we needed to define what offense was for our program. And so the definition we came up with, and this is a little bit longer, and it's got big words. All of the words, though, were chosen for a specific reason. But the way we defined what offense was to us was a system of interchangeable teammates focused on utilizing the strengths of each player to put the ball in the basket as efficiently as possible. So we came up with this big, long definition. We told our players what it was, and really the idea was we wanted them to hear words like focused and teammates and strengths of each player. We wanted them to understand that's what we're going for here. Okay, that's the big picture. Now, these kids can't remember what we said. They can't remember this definition. It's not like we have it tattooed on the wall anywhere. But we figured out, let's let them hear these words, let's let them understand what the big picture is, and then let's simplify it. So then what we went to was take quality shots from earned spots. So quality shots speaks to whether or not someone's closely guarding you, whether or not you're shooting quick in the shot clock or late in the shot clock, that type of thing. And then from earned spots means that you've got to earn the right to shoot from wherever it is you're shooting from. And so those are the two things that we wanted to lead with. So we had this big long definition, the system of interchangeable teammates focused on and then we just went to take quality shots from earned spots. We still use both. We still use both terminologies. We figure one's the big picture and one's kind of the catchy one that they can remember easily. Our background was, as a player and coach, had been through multiple offenses. I mean, motion offense, blocker mover, Princeton offense. I even played in a run and gun system where it was, if the point guard passed you the ball, you had to shoot it or you were coming out. So I'd kind of seen a little bit of everything. When we started looking at positionless, the reason we started running read and react prior to going positionless in terms. But what we decided was, look, if we're truly going to say this is a positionless system, then we need to get rid of the positions. We were calling it a positionless system. It didn't matter what number you were, but we were still calling 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so there was conflicting messages going out to those players. You know, they're hearing, well, it doesn't matter what number I am, then why do I have a number? So what we decided to do, and this kind of gets into the fast break to flow idea, we decided is just scrap the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No point guard, no center. What we did was fast break accountabilities. And so our fast break accountabilities, we have an outlet, we have an inbounder, we have a right lane, we have a left lane, and then we have either a rim runner or a head hunter. And I'm going to get into what those different options look like. But that's it. When we put a player in the game, we say, hey, you go get CJ and you're the right lane. You go get Colin and you're the outlet. That's how we substitute. We don't tell them they're the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Even our play diagrams for our out-of-bounds plays and things, we've replaced the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with RL for right lane, LL for left lane, and so on and so forth. What it's done for our players is it's kind of liberated them a little bit. And the reason, the thing that tipped us over to doing this was I had a player about 5 years ago, and he was, for our offense, we were a small team that year. And so he's about 6'2", 6'3". I don't know what that is in meters, I apologize. He's a little bit taller than me, but he needed to play the 4. We were calling him the 4. Well, in our offense, it didn't matter that he was the 4. But as soon as he heard, you're the 4, he freaked out. He said, Coach, I can't be a 4. I'm not big enough, I'm not tall enough. And we just said, Corbin, listen, it doesn't matter. It's just a label. And he just couldn't get it out of his system. So we just said, okay, that off season, we scrapped all the numbers. We told him, now you're the inbounder. And he's like, oh, okay, that makes me feel so much better. Well, he was still the 4. We just calling it something different. But we didn't want to give that conflicting message to our team. That we're not, you don't have to worry about your position, but here's your position. So by going to these fast break accountabilities, we took care of that whole problem. We gave them something very descriptive about what their job is as soon as we switch from defense to offense. And now they understand what it is that they're supposed to be doing. The reason we really love this system, the positionless system in general, and the running, is because you can start at a young level. You can start at the youth level. We have 9 and 10-year-olds running this. And they grow with the system, and the system grows with them. The better they become as players, the better the system gets. That's true of any system, I know. But we can work on player development in everything we do. You know, we're never worried about just memorizing plays. We're teaching them how to play. And that's what we love most about them. At the advanced level, once they get up to me at the varsity high school level, we can really focus on playing our 5 best kids and on exploiting matchups. Because the pieces are so interchangeable that just by substituting, I can be running something completely different. Just because everything is based on what their role is, what their strengths are. So we change the whole look of our offense just by putting a new player in. And that's what our kids love about it. They just need to go in and they need to play to their strengths. They need to know what their role is, play to their strengths, and our offense changes with them. It also allows us to run the same thing against the press, against the zone, against trapping, against a pack defense, a pressure defense. We run the same thing, either with different personnel or just minor tweaks and alignment. So we're able to be very, very flexible, not only from game to game and possession to possession, but from season to season. Our best 3-year run was it was a stretch where we went 24-5, 22-6, and 25-4. And in those 3 seasons, we had no players play college basketball. Okay, this is just good high school players. But we were able to go in the 24-5 team. We had 2 big players. We had 2 post players. So we were a lot of 3 out, 2 in. Well, the next season we were very small. Post players graduated. We were a small team. We went 5 out almost exclusively. And then that last year, we had one big guy and two guys who were pretty athletic that could go in and out of the post, so they would move in and out, and we would be 4 out, 1 in most of the year. But we could change that on any given possession. We could change that based on the team we were playing. And so this maximum flexibility is what's really good for us. Hopefully you guys are keeping up with my English here, which my English isn't even very good, so I can't imagine what it would sound like if I tried another language. But we on the basketball court all speak the same language. We all understand. Our scouting reports now have gone to, hey, let's look to do some more layer 4, some more circle movement, that type of thing. And so by simplifying the system and by holding players accountable, we've been able to be very, very flexible. And by not putting labels on them, especially at a young age, we've given them room to grow as players. You know, they're not stuck, they're not pigeonholed to, oh, I'm just a 5, I'm a post player, I'm a center, which has been great. Like I said before, we've got player development in every single drill we do. You'll see it as I start to put these guys out on the floor here. The key thing with this whole system, and I'll talk about this tomorrow in my 2 sessions, is it gives us great spacing. And when we do this fast break stuff here, you're going to see, we're going to run the spots, we're going to have the floor spread, and we're going to maintain great spacing throughout. And that's extremely important. Because if you have great spacing, you're going to have good offense. You know, as long as somebody on the team can put the basketball in the basket, you're going to have pretty good offense, because spacing is offense. It gives us 5-player coordinated movement. All of our players know what to do based on what the guy with the ball does. They just know. And so it's not a matter of memorizing the play, it's about just reading what my teammate is doing and then acting accordingly. It puts pressure on the rim, constant pressure on the rim, so the defense can't go out and trap and not worried about getting beat for a layup. You know, when teams press us, we always call it press offense, not a press breaker. We don't want to just get it across half court and then run offense. We want to beat it for a layup so that there's some risk into pressing us. Our kids love sharing the ball. This system allows them to do that. It allows a lot of guys to get a lot of touches. When everybody touches the ball, everybody feels good, and team chemistry seems to be good. In our best years, we are a much better team if we've got 5 guys averaging 12 to 13 points a game, rather than 1 guy scoring 25 for us. It makes us much more dangerous, much tougher to scout, and much tougher to defend. So that's the kind of culture we're trying to build by going to this positionless system. Equal opportunity in all ways. As far as the running goes, and I want to get into this now, I want to get these guys out here and start showing you some things. But this background is really important because it's going to set up all 4 of my talks. When I do the building better practice plans, you're going to see a lot of this tonight. And I'm going to be in the classroom for that this evening. And then tomorrow in my 2 sessions, it's all this. So you're getting the background now, so I can just get on the court for the rest of the time. We have several reasons we love to run. Number 1 is it's good for our kids' conditioning. We don't just run line drills, we go out and we play basketball. We get a ball in our hands, we get them moving up and down the floor, and the kids love that. They would much rather be conditioning with a ball in their hands than just running for the sake of running. The players love playing in the system. Every player that we've had come through here, you know, none of them says, oh, coach, can't we just walk the ball up? Coach, can't we just go slower so we don't get as many shots? I mean, players just don't think that way. They want to go. They want to play, they want to take shots, they want to have fun, they want to move around. Our opponents hate it. Our opponents, you know, we've got 4 teams now in our league that have stopped going to the offensive glass. They've decided, you know what, we're not getting enough offensive rebounds to risk them running and getting an easy basket at the other end. So when they shoot, they all 5 sprint back. Now for all but one of those teams, that's something they don't do against anybody else. So they have to prepare special for us in order to prepare to play us, which is great. That means they have to spend practice time doing something different that their players aren't used to. So that's another thing that we love about it. The increase in easy baskets, especially, you'll see this when I get these guys out here, especially for the left lane. The increase in easy baskets has been a great thing for us. Because now we've got one position where if we've got maybe a football player, especially a left-handed one, we had an all-state wide receiver a couple years ago, he was our left lane. They get 3 or 4 easy layups just running the floor hard, catching and finishing at the rim. Okay, so that's something we've got a spot in this system for that athlete that maybe is supposed to work on the skill side of the game a little bit. So the number 1 thing in all this, and I want to leave you with this before we get these players out here. The number 1 thing in all this is we believe the best time to attack a defense is when they're disorganized. If we can be organized while they're disorganized, we're going to get easy baskets. That's really kind of the secret to this whole thing. And when that rebound comes down, you've got 3 to 5 seconds where that defense is trying to get back, trying to figure out who's got who, trying to figure out where they are on the floor, where their man is on the floor. If you can attack during that time, you've got the advantage. You always will have the advantage. And so what we do with our rim runner and what we do with our headhunter is we tell them that, hey, let's look for the most disorganized defender and make sure we pick on that person. I'm going to show all that here in a minute. So that's the scoop, all right? That's kind of what we're going for here. And what you're going to find is when I start putting the guys out here, it's super simple. Okay, this is not rocket science. We believe that players' feet slow down when their mind is working. So we want to make this really, really easy. We're going to introduce it. We're going to build it up. We're going to drill it, and then we're going to add complications to it. Okay, and that's again just going to be based on roles. So you'll see here when I get done that we can run this a certain way and then make one substitution and all of a sudden it looks completely different. All right, and I think that's kind of the beauty of the simplicity of it is we can change what we're running based on one substitution. Okay, so if I get 5 guys out here right now, you are going to be my rim runner. I'm just doing this based on what I saw you guys warming up with. You're going to be my inbounder. You're going to be my outlet. I want you to be the right lane and I want you to be the left lane. Are any of you left-handed here? No, oh, that's okay. You can make left-handed layup, right? All right, so you can be my left.